Good evening, my friends. Welcome to another round of Feedback and Friends. I am your host, ill-esha, and we have Nathaniel, Wyvern, and special guest LaMay tonight. So I just wanted to say that it's been really, really good to be back. We started this LBC TV last year, for those who don't know, as an electronic music production community that's tied to our Discord. And it's kind of like two communities coming together. So I spent the last year moving to Scandinavia, and it took me a while, but I am finally in my studio that is a little bit cozy, which is good because winter is coming. And in Denmark, you say hygge for this comforting, cozy vibe that you try and build. So finally, I am here, and I'm really excited to have our guests tonight. So welcome to Nathaniel, as always, and also welcome to LaMay. Please introduce yourself. I know you've been around our community for a while, but this is your first time, I think, on the stream, and I'd love to hear a bit more about you and your music.
Well, I'm kind of a multifaceted person, I'd like to say for myself, but I am a songwriter, a singer, and I say in that order, some might say otherwise, and vocal arranger. And I've been doing this for a few years, maybe since the 90s. But yeah, I'm really into song structures and just the overall combination of elements that it takes to make a really good song. And I'm really, really excited to be here, and I thank you so much for inviting me. This is great. I'm excited.
Wicked. And can you describe the style of your music maybe to people who haven't heard it before?
Okay, well, I started off as R&B, more like a hip hop soul thing. If you don't know what that means, that's basically when you take more hip hop elements of songs, like the drum track, bass, and then put some R&B chords and vocals over top of it. That's how I started off back in the day. And I've kind of parlayed those same vocal styles and things into some of the house music and disco that I've been doing.
Ooh.
Took a little break at certain points, life happens. And after the pandemic, why not? Pandemic wasn't all bad, 100% bad, at least for me, because it kind of got me up off my thing so I can get back into the music like I really should, instead of just dabbling here and there when I felt like it. So I'm like, let's do this again. And my first couple singles were disco. And for those of you who know the difference between the two, I'm more of a Paradise Garage, kind of gritty disco than maybe a Studio 54. Love them both, but with most genres of music, I'm more on like the urban ground type of side. However, when it comes to writing and arranging, I do not limit myself. You could give me a country song, a tech house song, whatever, and I can just create melodies for different things that just kind of hits me. It's hard to explain. It's just kind of like, it's something with the way music's put together. I can kind of just groove with it, and sometimes even make the lyrics up off the top of my head. Freestyling, I guess, you could call it. And,
That's
Live and
super
breathe the
awesome.
music.
That's really awesome because we haven't had, for the first few years of our community, because it was electronic music
Thank you.
production, we haven't had a lot of vocalists and strong songwriters. And I
Mm.
find that it's become so much more holistic these days. Like a lot of people are wanting to sing and produce their own stuff, but there's so much less literature about this combination
Uh-huh.
of like production and vocals and that skill set together. So I'm just really interested to hear like how you perceive tracks and everything. So yeah, we have a cool show tonight. We got actually a plugin of the week and a recent media plugin company controversy to talk about with the minimal audio current synth. So we're going to take a look at it and also talk about kind of the way they rolled it out and also hopefully get some little tips along the way from our guest. So first off, let's just go in. We've got Eggy Toast, I believe, is first on the list this week. Would you like to read the feedback request, Natty?
A dreamy mellow track. I'm happy with it, but is it too empty? Boring, repetitive, badly mixed? Needs to be 2x speed and happy hardcore? Question mark.
Everything needs to be happy hardcore. All right, well, let's find that out. I kind of feel like I'm on like a not a level of a video game, but like one of those in between places where you like stop and collect some treasures to go to the next thing, and you have like a little thing talking to you that's like, "Hi, I have a mission."
Yeah, I can hear that. I definitely can hear that. I'm hearing more of a commercial, a TV commercial
For
with maybe yogurt or no, something really chill. With no, I'm serious because sync is where it's at. Like don't get it twisted. That's definitely not a diss. So I'm hearing more of a voiceover. And sorry to plug this because I didn't say it before. Those we had a little technical difficulties for all of you that know on my side, so I was kind of thrown off. But I do voice work as well, voiceover work, and I can hear with that type of sound, someone like, "Yes, you'll play the taste that you need," or something. Like I hear this more for sync than I do for club radio, etc., etc. But I do hear the do-do-do-do-do-do. That's very video game. So you're right. On that one, I definitely hear that.
Nice, nice. What about you, Natty? How are you feeling?
I'm definitely feeling the video game vibe. Reminds me a bit of like something you'd hear in Animal Crossing,
Yeah.
where everything, the whole game, is just low key.
Where would you go
Yeah.
from here? I mean, I think like it depends. If LaMay says sync, you might not even want to go that much further with it because sometimes this minimal stuff is what they want, or you might want to keep this version and then
Yes.
do like another. There's a lot of ways that you could kind of deal with it. I've done a lot of stuff for sync as well, and you'll have to do like a 30-second, a 60-second, a minimal version, and then maybe like a version with more of a lead. So you could almost like look at that as your next challenge. Just be like, if I had another layer, what would I do if I was trying to put this in a commercial? Because yeah, I mean that is where the money is in music. Definitely not from Spotify.
And I really don't. Yeah, like sync. That's right. At this point, it's like it's a compliment. You know what I mean? Because it's not the easiest thing to be able to get into. You know what I mean? And I don't, unfortunately, hear room for many vocals.
Yeah.
Singing vocals. I really don't. With the way that track and the way the instruments are placed, I really don't hear a lot of room for any vocals because it already has a type of rhythm to it that seems a little hard to follow at some points. And I believe that the vocals are just going to make it less hard to follow. And songs that you can follow, something that you can grip onto is what hooks the people when you're writing a song. So I think instrumental is best for this one.
Agreed.
If you were going to do anything vocal, I'd think like consonants, like do 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 do.
Right.
Like something but soft,
Possibly
like nothing
following maybe
up front.
One of the higher pitch sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably about as far as I'd go in that direction.
Yeah.
Well, next
minimal.
up,
All minimal.
yeah, yeah, I agree. But who's next? You said number 11.
Yes, please. There's Errata. Subscribed for Prime thingy. So
Oh, thank
I
you
think
for
that warrants a jump.
the subscription. What was their specific feedback on their submission?
None.
None.
So anything goes.
Anything goes. All right. So we got Errata Music next, and the song is called "Soul of Tree." Sorry, my mouse is glitching. I didn't have to turn it off. Do do do. whoa, that was dope. I had to let that one play, so I'll let our guests speak. What did you think of that one?
Roller coaster ride. And I mean that in the best way. I mean, you didn't know what was coming next. And I'm a sucker for a unique sound that you don't expect.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but I just didn't know what was going to happen next.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. I love the guitar and I love all like the Reese's. The mix sounded really, really tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say on that one because there were so many nice textures together that like anything else, like I can't actually say the ear candy thing because there was plenty and it was interesting, but it was hypnotic. So Natty, I'll rely on your quirkiness if you have something to say.
I only really have one comment. You know that breakdown section where it goes really quiet?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Just ever so slightly more environmental texture there because it makes it feel like the song's finished and then it just comes back.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Just a smidge.
Yeah. That's about it. I mean,
I
it's
totally agree.
pretty good. Well, that was dope. Thank you for the subscription, Narada. That was a really, really nice track to get going and get my vibe
Yeah.
up the night. So I guess we go back in the queue, right? To is it Jedders again?
Yep.
Last time I said that, they were like, "Yeah, that's cool." So I'm just gonna go with it. Jedders. any any other? Let's go. It's a bit of a fun
Let's
track.
go.
Does it sound as messy as I think it does? All right, we will tell you. Wow. What? I'm so confused. That was kind of like three songs or like.
5.
I like the sections, but I would like them to connect a little bit, not be totally just shocked, I think. Personally, I don't know.
Wait, I think it's still
What's
going though.
your
We might be getting
guys'
sick.
feeling? Like,
I don't think it needs so many sections. Broken down into more of a ABC because like I follow if you, whoever, whether it's video game, movie, something for the club, you hook into something to feel part of it. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense how I'm explaining that, but I just feel like it's almost like they were watching someone play a video game with the sound off, and they just started playing like, all right, they're punching now, they're running now, okay, they're like, I don't.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now.
No, it makes sense. I mean, I like that color based thing, and that first section, I was like, that's really tidy and clean, and then it just went somewhere else, and I was like, that's another song, and that the mixing on that also was a little bit more chaotic. So I think the color based initial drop part is really cool, and like you should kind of roll that out into the full idea, and then maybe connect it a little bit more to the piano, because I like the improv jazz thing, but like it's so avant garde that when you have three sections that are like that, it's just like, what is happening? So. Yeah. Oops, we lost her. Hopefully she'll come back. Natty, did you have anything else to say about this one?
I think it really is just about narrative momentum. That's kind of what's going to decide whether things connect or whether to cut them out.
Right. Well,
So you're going to have to sort of picture a scene and use that to kind of chart the flow of it. I think that's the way to move forward with something like this.
and don't be afraid to split it into a couple of tracks, you know? That's what I would say.
We all love a good EP.
Yes. So let's go back to the queue. We've got, is Ani around?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yep.
And what did they say they would like?
Got a stock looping soundtrack, gave it a tune of my own, and made a soundtrack. A review of the track would be helpful. Thanks. Smiley face.
All right.
I'm not familiar with Soundtrap. You'll have to explain that one, Annie.
Sorry, guys. I've had like a mouse failure. I'm dying. So let me just go back and roll back, and let's just pretend that that didn't just glitch out. I'm turning my mouse off, and I'm just going to use trackpad from now on. Let's try that again.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh.
So, Annie, I mean, you've had your stuff on the show a few weeks now. I think you just keep doing what you're doing, keep experimenting, like keep throwing everything in every direction, and just like this is the time to be joyful because I can hear that you're still learning, and there's a few things like mix wise, but I don't think you need to focus on that now. I think you just need to keep making ideas. What do y'all think?
You first.
Natty?
Yeah, I think you're right, especially exploring different types of vibes. Because right now it almost sounds like generic drift funk. I wouldn't be able to pick this out amongst all the other drift funk stuff out there, aside from the production values being a little bit different.
I didn't even know there was a genre.
Okay, so I'm glad you said it first. Drift funk. Drift funk.
Drift funk.
That's what it's called.
Funk. PHONK.
Okay, I had no idea.
Me neither.
Well, you learned something new today.
It's the music to drive your kitted out Kia with the neon lights around town blasting out to everyone's neighborhood kind of stuff.
Oh, I see.
All right.
Like that movie with Ludacris? Like, what's that, Fast and the Furious? Like that?
Yeah, that's the kind of aesthetic that drift funk in particular.
Okay.
Funk is lifting music. Yeah,
Yeah, regular funk is kind of in that camp as well, but drift funk is this the focus on the cowbell. That's kind of the drift aesthetic.
Oh, okay. Good stuff. I mean, I liked it. I think it had a nice little groove to it. I know you mentioned that they're still working on mixing and things, but I really like the direction that's going in, and I might have to check out more of this drift funk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely got that like night riding vibe to it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
keep doing what you're doing. What's going on else tonight? We usually have a theme. We've had a lot of color based so far. I don't know if that's the theme or we'll see. Next we got Ink, who doesn't have an artist name. And they say that they feel that they struggle with mix and sound design. I got news for you. It kind of sometimes never stops. It depends. Like some people are just really good at it. Some people have great ears for mixing and then they're fine. And if it's not like your particular thing, it may always be a thing. But it's a learning process because just as soon as you learn something, some new stuff comes out. Some new tools come out.
Yeah.
So it's like you can never know everything. When I used to teach at a university, I used to joke like the history professors have it so much easier than the music tech professor because history does not change. But I got to update my plugins like every 6 months, right? So don't worry. We all kind of struggle at some point. So let's check it out and see what we think. Aaron W. I mean, I really like this vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really, really nice. Like that house sample. I think mixing wise, I'll tell you something. I forgot to tell you, my sub pack is back. My little bass speaker on my back. I finally got that set up. And I can hear some dirtiness in the low end. Like when your low end is overwhelming on a sub pack, instead of a nice vibration, you get this kind of like this fart on your back. So I am experiencing that a little bit. But the good news is, number one, I struggle with this too. Sub and kick and stuff, especially when your room is like not a perfectly treated room. There's all kinds of like standing waves and weird spots in your room where you're not going to hear. Like I have this huge 80 hertz dip right in my listening position. So I'm kind of in the process of fixing it. But like some people don't even have that, right? Sometimes you're just like in your bedroom and you can't do anything to the walls. So the only solution is to use a lot of reference tracks and to know your headphones and to kind of get to know the shortcomings of your environment. So I use a room correction software as well called SonarWorks, which kind of like, it's not perfect. I wouldn't put it on all the time because what it does is it measures your listening position exactly and then it compensates for the weird nodes in your room. So it's good at moments, but it's also weird if you move elsewhere in the room and stuff. So I would just say, sorry, long tangent, use reference tracks because once you fix that bass, once you clean up some low end in the EQ, that'll make space for your drums to poke through. I would learn more about side chaining. I've got a side chaining workshop up on my personal YouTube, on my ill-esha YouTube, if you ever want to check it out. I did with some friends. And I think artistic side chaining is a really good way to make this mix pop, having the drums punch out, having that bass sit a little bit nicer in the mix because that vocal stuff is great. I want that to shine. Yeah. LaMay, what did you think of this one?
All right. I really love the structure of this song and the way that it's been put together. I love it. I love how, and when the vocals do come in, there's an octave situation happening, and the lower one has this gritty effect on it. I don't really hear that a lot. So I really like it how that flows over the track and some cool chord progressions, and it's just, I really like it a lot. I think once the mix things that you pointed out are taken care of, this is going to be one for the books. Like put that right out there. I really like this one a lot.
Nat,
we've had some good stuff today.
Yeah. Natty, how'd you feel?
I really like the bass line, but I also want to miss the bass line. This is something we talk about a fair amount on the show. It's the idea of having a really good element, but also making us want it to come back by taking it away. And it's like through the whole track, almost the same in terms of the sound and the actual melody it's playing. It doesn't really vary up. Well, I know you want to have the groove. It's not the only thing providing the groove. The drums are also doing a lot of the legwork there. So you can go back and forth a bit between the two to really keep the momentum going without ruining anything. That's
totally true. Having a break is nice. Making people miss it is nice. I was just so captivated when the house sample came in and I was like, yeah, just keep going. Yeah. But that would also be like, You can have like this dance floor edit and then you can have like a radio edit, which is a little bit tighter for people kind of listening at home, you know? That's also an option.
Yeah.
So general feedback is not a person in the army. It is the requested feedback for Lick No Beats next track. So, all right, general feedback.
Sorry, Stasis Stigma asked if he could get in before he goes and finishes lunch break. Can we go in first? Is that okay?
What number is he?
Number 14.
14. All right.
And then we'll come back to we've got Waffle and then Lick No Beat because Waffle gave us a donation.
Okay. Well, thank you, Stasis. Yeah. Stasis is kind of our all-time VIP. You're a gem. So, what comment was Stasis looking for? Anything specific? And this is a remix. I hope you don't get us dinged. Ding, ding, ding.
He says that it's the vocals only. They're in a different key too, so he's hoping that it'll be fine.
All right. Well,
he says, I've really missed you guys. Life has been crazy. New job and all my time has been drained. But I feel this track is still missing something, even though it's minimal. What can I add or take away?
All right.
I'll seek you out, flay you alive. One more word and you won't survive. And I'm not scared of your stolen power. See right through you anyhow. I won't soothe your pain. I won't ease your strain. I won't soothe. I'll seek you out, flay you alive. One more word and you won't survive. And I'm not scared of your stolen power. See right through you anyhow. I won't soothe your pain. I won't ease your strain. You'll be waiting in vain. I got nothing for you to gain. I won't soothe. I'm taking it slow, feeding my flame, shoveling the cards of your game, and just in time, in the right place, suddenly I will play my ace. I won't soothe your pain. I won't ease your strain. I won't soothe your pain. I won't ease your strain. I won't soothe. I'll seek you out, flay you alive. One more word and you won't survive.
Whoop. My internet is biting. Little glitchy, but anyways, this track I was just gonna say like beauty and minimalism, but I think you can put a little bit more. A lot of people in the chat are saying some great stuff like textures, gravel sounds, some extra hi-hats, some different percussion, just to change it up and chopping the vocals more because yeah, it just sounds pretty standard. If you're gonna remix it, go a little more nuts. I don't know. LaMay, as a vocalist and a vocal arranger, what would you do with that?
Okay, this is a good one. So, as far as I'll just go through the verses, well, I'll speak about the verses in specific. I like the melody. However, it is too minimal. I'm not saying it needs more lyrics. I'm not saying it needs a bunch of runs and outrageousness. It's not that type of song. However, this is where you can experiment with your voice. So, whereas I will soothe your pain, or something like that. And put a bunch of reverb, echoey, have it like circling around the room, just make it kind of spooky. And just like, so it's almost like you're throwing your voice. I'm sorry, I don't know all of the technical terms for production and things, but I know what when I hear songs like this, what it needs. It needs the voice to be played with. Not even exactly background vocals, but just make some sounds. Just feel it. I don't know if you got to turn the lights off and light a candle or something, but just play the track through 2 or 3 times and have just a whole track of just sounds like, and things like that. And I really just think that is what will put the vocal portion over the top. And honestly, don't fight me. I'm sorry this is going long. Don't fight
No,
me.
go
But
for it.
I would I would do that before I adjust the track.
Good point.
Seriously. Because when you layer that the proper way with the proper effects, it's going to become one of the instruments.
No, I think that's solid feedback. It's, and music is about like everybody's going to feel something intuitively, whether there's technical terms or not. So I think it's a really interesting take. And we're all vocalists as well, so of different genres and different influences.
Yeah.
So Natty, what's your vibe on that?
So obviously, this is a remix. You can't re-sing the vocals, but you're on the right track here, I think, LaMay, in terms of extracting specific vowel sounds out of it. I would chuck them in Vital as like separate presets, and then using a combination, because like you can extract the melody if you're not so good with that. Because I know some people are a chat, not everyone's so experienced. You can extract the audio to MIDI, and then you can feed that back round to the same vocal melody then with your chopped up vowels. So you can have things like where it's going and then flip into like an O sound or something like that after, because you're automating your
Reverse
two MIDI
it.
instruments. Yeah, exactly. Because something like Vital, it's free, and it has massively powerful wavetable manipulation abilities to the point where I still haven't even rinsed out the usefulness of Vital, and I've used it for a couple of years at this point.
Yeah. It's it's an endlessly awesome synth too, and we love free plugins.
Because what you want is that human vocal character, but by chucking it in a synth, you're not limited to the existing recording. You can warp it and form and shift it wherever you want.
True. So I can't even remember that you just swept the queue around. Who is actually next now?
Number 16 next, please. Waffle
Number-
SD. They have mix arrangement made from my girlfriend's birthday smiley face.
Aww. That's really amazing. You're a good person. I wish somebody would do that for me, but I think I'm done with dating musicians. Just
Don't blame you.
it's just my life experience. All right, it's this track is called Laura Phi, and yeah, mix arrangement. Yeah, that's it. All right. that was cute. What'd you guys think about that one?
Happy birthday, girlfriend. I know we're probably late, but just saying. Um, I was just kind of waiting for it to go somewhere. I like the groove. I just feel like even with every change, I was still waiting for it to go somewhere. Maybe a little strings or a drop or a bridge type section. I feel like it was just a really long loop that kept
Mm-hmm.
looping in a way. Um, Not bad. I just think that there needs to be a little bit more of a change in some way or another to differentiate
Yeah,
where it's going. What do you guys think?
I agree. We always say it needs some ear candy.
Yes, I like that. Yes, we love the candy.
Yeah. Just little what we call micro tensions and macro tensions, little fills, little places where it just drops out into air or little sparkles or something, and just tiny
Hmm.
points that and then you can go back into it. It's just like, Natty said this earlier, we say it all the
Yeah,
time too. You got to make them miss it. You can't just keep it constant. Dynamics are important.
make them miss it. I like that. Yeah.
So, Natty, you're kind of a lo-fi person, aren't you?
I've definitely spent some time in that space. There's an album by an act called City Girl. This has a similar vibe to some of their work. Definitely in that lo-fi space. The song I'm thinking of, I think it's The Limitless Void, but I might have been mixing up my song titles. And one of the really nice things is occasionally it gives itself room to just come out and noodle on the piano. Like to go just strip away the beat and just have this light ambiance as the sort of tail of the pads come out, and then it just messes about with the piano and getting all the variations in the different chord voicing and stuff, and then
Hmm.
comes back into the beat. Only because that song's a bit more experimental. It goes to like up tempo, which is cool, but you don't have to do that here. But it's just that kind of ability to go from beat to, well, it's basically classical, neoclassical type stuff, really. Where you're just immersing yourself in the qualities of one instrument over everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and Nicola in the chat is like, don't do too much that it distracts your focus. And I think, of course, there's a balance, right? It's like reverb. You always think you have the right amount of reverb. And the advice I got in audio school from my teacher was get the right amount and then dial it back. And it's kind of like that with edits, like do a bunch of edits and then just keep the coolest ones and, really refine them. And don't go crazy on the edits because it does have a really nice vibe. So balance like anything. Cool. We're gonna be back to lick no beat again with the general feedback. That was a cool little ride. Nice. I think the only thing for me was that breakdown. It needed a bit more oomph. It kind of just dropped too long because the rest of it was so hype, you know? That's what I think. Anyone else?
I think the problem is I don't really feel like there's a defining section of this track. It's kind of just a vibe. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or not.
You don't know if it's
because on the one hand, you know, if you're building, like, if you were a DJ, for example, you might build yourself a few of these sort of tracks that are vibes, but are just something you can slot in to help transition to other bits and pieces that you're doing. And that's kind of what this feels like. But so that could be considered utilitarian, couldn't it?
Yeah. I guess
It's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah.
But then if you wanted to stand out as a track, let's say if someone just has it in their Spotify library, they're like, oh, I know this track. I feel like I'd struggle to do that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it needs like some sort of lead like focus or like a little bit of a different element, something to just progress it, just to give it something to grab onto. But yeah, the breakdown especially for me was a little bit like, hey, like something needs to happen. Like why is nothing happening right now? So
Yeah, I totally agree with you both. And I think it's reminiscent of what we heard a few songs back, where these drops are just the whole bottom's falling out, and then we think the song is over. It's I kind of looked up at the screen like, okay, is it, you know, you don't want to lose people. The attention spans are
very short.
not necessarily always there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think people just in general, no matter the genre, no matter whether it's vocals or no vocals, be careful in those drops, because if it drops too much, people are like, next,
Yeah.
let's keep going. It's over, you know.
Yeah. I think that's really all that can be said about that. Just keep developing, keep adding a few more layers to make the energy more complex. I didn't realize that Nick Beeman has taken on a new alias. Is that right, Natty?
I
Betula.
guess so.
Interesting.
Nicola Betula?
Very, very interesting. Is
Or
this
Nicola Betula?
very early whip? So are you starting a new project, or is this just like a name change? Or like tell us in the chat a little bit about it while we listen to your lovely track. And just looking for conceptual feedback and ideas how to take the beats further. Cool. Looking forward to hearing the new vibes.
Reboot. Vi är fast i en loop. Vår värld. Ett momentum. Reboot. Vi är fast i en loop. Vår värld. Ett momentum. Reboot. Vi är fast i en loop. Vår värld. Ett momentum. Reboot. Vi är fast i en loop. En av de saker som stör är att ni som leder bara tänker på er makt. Lägg åt sidan. Skapa bara förakt. Ni har ett uppdrag att sköta, så res er ur skiten innan vår värld blir helt försliten. Alla ord ni väljer tror att vi sväljer, håller tyst när det kokar inom oss. Snart brister det, och då finns det inget stopp. Dags att sätta fart för en ny start, om inte game over för vår art. Vår värld är ett momentum. Reboot. Vi är fast i en loop.
I'm kind of feeling this is interesting. It is like super artsy, but I think you could almost get way weirder with the bass sound if you're gonna go this weird with the rest of it. Like, you know, I almost want to hear some like Alex Perez shades, like weird disjointed atonal halftime, like glitchy Eamon Tobin almost stuff, because this bass is a very like solid basic note. It's like da na 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 na, and I don't even want to hear those kinds of notes. I kind of want to hear like atonal sweeping like slides, like almost like an 808 drop, like a woo or something. It's just too kind of in my face and in key compared to all the like weird poetry and things that are going on, and it to me like it, you got to go all the way. That's just a totally subjective artistic opinion, so feel free anyone to disagree with me. That's just like what my vibe was, you know. So I don't know what you all think.
I mean, I do agree with you. I do. And from my experience of doing spoken word over songs, you need something underneath to move it along at a point. There should have been way more changes in the track. From when he started speaking, it's just kind of like everything dropped out and you're just speaking. And I know this may seem like a off the wall comment, but this is, you know, the RT song. Not everybody knows what you're speaking about. People will tune out.
Yeah.
Not everybody speaks the same languages. So now you've taken away a majority of the groove in the track, and then you're talking for 16 bars. I didn't count. I'm just saying. I think that can be done, but you need to have the track supplement and I would say almost accentuate what you're speaking about. And even though I'm not sure what he's speaking about exactly, it's just kind of like it gets monotone after a while. Even though I would prefer to hear the speaking towards the beginning of the song where more of the track was playing versus when everything dropped.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I don't know. Hope that makes sense.
I agree too. Natty?
I know how you could do it. It's about adding silence where you want to emphasize specific words. It's like you...
That could work too.
Yeah, because it's like you can just chop it out, bits of it that you really want people to pay attention to. And then sidechain everything else to that section only. And so you get these intermittent moments where it's just... So it makes it weirder as well, because you just get this sort of... And then whatever they're going to say, something, and it sounded like French or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It was Swedish. I'm actually
Swedish.
I'm surprised because I hear Danish all day, which is like Swedish but worse pronunciation, and I didn't recognize it. But you know, it would be cool. Like Nick's saying that it's about the current situation of our world and stuff. To make a really like apocalyptic music video and have English subtitles on it, so that people can really like take in that message, and maybe it'll be powerful with some imagery, right, to back up the momentum thing. So our world.
I would love to know what he was saying.
He said, "Our world,
Also-
a momentum reboot. We're stuck in a loop." I already.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I missed
Also,
something.
I'd love to
Okay.
hear some whispering.
Mm.
I feel like it's,
Yeah.
that would be a really good way of varying up the tone of it. And also allowing you to stitch together the music back into it easier because you're not occupying the full frequency range. Because when you whisper, you actually move less bassy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And then you can also use that like nice ASMR texture of your voice to just give a little crispiness to the top of the track too.
And with that being the words that he was actually saying, I would have actually added in maybe a female voice somewhere if you're going to repeat it that many times, saying it along with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even going to try to repeat it. But after the male voice says it enough times, and all of a sudden you have a female voice getting the point across, coming in with you, like da, 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 da.
And you can
Yeah.
even have it so later they stack up together, because if you can start
That's
doing
what
that
I
with
mean. Yeah.
more, like as many voices as possible, then it really emphasizes this whole artistic intention of we're all suffering together, we all have to solve it together.
Yes. I like how you can kind of retranslate and explain my non-technical way of saying things. Both of you. Thank you.
Well, like I said, I
That's
think
what.
we're all very like we have unique backgrounds and influences, but like we're all artists. We all feel things a certain way, and I think there is such a really powerful universal. I actually just did a presentation within my company about like the effects of sound on people, and there was an interesting study by some UC Berkeley people where they just asked people how they felt with certain textures of instrumental music, and people there was this universal response. There is this like heat map, and you can see how people overlap. So I think that you don't necessarily need to speak the language, but maybe just finding a way to emphasize the power of those words so that you like feel them in a certain way. So yeah. There's some good stuff in the chat. C-Trust says you could add a deep part to it along with the vocal drop, add a low pad that the high end isn't too high to add some more ambience. Exactly. So lots of good ideas. Thank you. This is Feedback and Friends with special guest LaMay and co-host Nathaniel Wyvern. My name is ill-esha, and we are so, so happy to be here. LaMay, where are you based?
I am an East Coast girl, and I split my time between the Caribbean and the East Coast. It gets cold up there sometimes. So,
Very
yeah,
nice.
the DMV area.
Sounds a lot warmer than Scotland or Denmark, where we are.
Yeah, I can say that I don't really miss a lot of snow. Some people love it. I prefer the warm weather.
And I don't even mind snow, but this is a lot. Weather where I am now in Vejle, Denmark, is a lot like the weather in Vancouver, British Columbia, where I grew up, which is like 9 months of rain and just gray and like not even real snow, but just kind of slush and like darkness and gray. So it's basically like Germany weather. So it's kind of Natty, how's your weather?
We had floods this last weekend.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
we
wow.
had some too. We had like 2 meters of ocean rising into some of the areas just like 30 minutes south of me.
Wow.
We had loads of inland flooding where loads of rivers just burst their banks.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's the recovery for that where you are? I know, at least in the Caribbean, the recovery is pretty quick because the storms are kind of used to it. Do they recover pretty quickly when you have floods and things go on where you are?
Well, I don't know because I haven't been here long enough. This is the first one I've
Oh, well.
seen. But what about you, Natty?
It depends on the area. Some areas, like our primary transit routes and stuff, are usually fine. They get back to normal within a couple of days. But there are still fields out there that are just flooded. The farmers are going, we're going to lose half our crops because they'll just rot.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a tough one.
Climate change. Well, I'm ready to hear this Six-Sided tune. Six-Sided I played last time, and I love that track so much that I went back and listened to it like 2 or 3 times after the show was over. So,
All right.
Natty, do you want to read this feedback sentence in your lovely Scottish
This is about
tones?
1/3 of the track, really stepping out of my comfort zone, trying to create an intimate listening experience with the listener. And I hope that people listening to this can gather a part of my personality and really experience the emotions that I had when creating this piece. Also, mixing advice.
Okay, let's check it out. always like, you're such a gifted composer. I mean, like your harmonies, your orchestration, like, what do you? Yeah, I love this. It's like Western flamenco, cinematic. Yeah, I mean, mixing. It's like with this kind of stuff, it's really just cleaning up and letting them take the space, right? You don't even need to do anything crazy because the melodies and the dynamics are just carrying you, right? How'd you feel about that, LaMay?
The first thing that came to mind, because I've been watching a lot of dance movies lately, old and new, just every kind of genre. And I like how you said that it's, what was it, Western
Yeah.
cinematic flamenco. I actually watched the movie that was about that, and it's just, I think that it would go very well in a dance scene in a film. I think it would be just perfect for something like that because you just automatically get that vibe. You don't have to try to like look for it. Sometimes the genres don't stand out from the beginning. I feel like this got right into it. Like this is what it is, and then the syncopation is duh, 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 duh. Even people who maybe aren't into that, it's just kind of like it draws your attention, and I
Yeah,
like that.
super cool. Did you like it, Natty?
I liked it. It's very swashbuckler kind of. It's sexy, but in a good way.
What? How is sexy not a good way?
Sexy can go cheesy as well. Like it can be trying too hard. This is sort of cool sexy rather than clingy. I'm really trying to
Downtown.
make. Yeah.
Sexy in a bad way. Natty, I think if you ever decide to make a guitar rock album, that's the title of it. Sexy in a bad way.
Oh, I could hear actually towards the end when it builds some electric guitar on that, what do they call them, face melters back in the day? Like somebody just going off on the electric guitar at the end of that. I could
Yeah,
totally hear
yeah,
that.
like
But I like
oh,
it, and then you can like call up Antonio Banderas and tell him to like make like another one of his tango movies or
nice.
something. Yeah, I'm down. I like
Yes.
it.
No, that is a great suggestion. I would listen to that. Like, oh, you tried electric guitar and got rid of it. But I think it's all in the tone. Like, give it that like Western, like Ennio Morricone. There we go. One of my favorite composers, right? He did a lot of those like Western sounds. Go listen to some Ennio Morricone and like just get that vibe on. And also that would be good reference
Yeah,
tracks for you as well. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, like at the end, I think electric guitar would be dope. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Super good. Good stuff. Zane up next. What did Zane want to know, Natty?
How to have vocals shine on the drop. If I should end the song after the drop or continue to the second half.
Okay.
Let's go, see.
Dark nights, oh my eyes lie on you. Would you save me from the hate in my heart? Rewrite my life. I can't take it anymore. But it's hard sometimes, the life I fantasize. Having thoughts that I consider suicide. But things always will get better, it's alright. I'm just at my lowest point, I had to write. And I can't breathe again. I'm so lost that I'm afraid. Taking a loss, I'm not a friend. Cut me off, that's what I meant. I'm so far along. I'm all alone, I should have known. How this world could get so cold. Same old shit, it's getting old.
Wow. I Are these your vocals, Zane? I mean, I got a lot to say. I'm going to let LaMay go first as a vocalist, but I can hear so many cool things where you could go on this.
Good melody, nice melody. It matches the tone of the song. Um, I would definitely, it may not totally be necessary on this particular song, but in the future, when you are phrasing your vocals that way, you might want, it's a trick I do all the time. I split my verse into lines. So I'm not sure this isn't your exact melody, but if you were to sing the first part, da 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 da, your next track is that next line, da 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 da. It just does something to it, going splitting each phrase to different tracks. I'm not sure specifically, scientifically or electronically what it does, but with the way the song is phrased, I would break up the verse line by line, like you're doing two totally different takes. It's not singing it all on one track and then chopping it up. No, you're almost echoing yourself. Da 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 da. Next track. Da 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 da. Back to the first track. Da da da. Promise you, the effect will really put that edge on it.
It sounds like you're describing trying to maximize the bleed so that each line then gets a chance to fade out a bit before you can naturally swing back, because obviously you might have to take a breath, or you might just not be quite able to keep up with the pace ever so slightly.
And I think in this, that would be definitely a good thing to do. And I would turn down the effect that you have on it. I don't know if it's like a tremolator or tremolo. I would turn that down and just, it makes it a little bit more clean. And then that effect is going to give you something, but I hate to say commercial, because I might have people in here cussing me out in the comments. We're not going for that. But that shine on it that you want. You know what I mean?
I think this is trying to be pop. I think it's a fair comment to aim for that. If you're going to be pop, you have to be commercial. That's just part of the sound.
Yeah, I would take off a little bit of that. I don't know if it's the tremolator or whatever it is, but I think it's a little too much on there. And just try that trick next time. And also, I do believe before that piano and drum breakdown in the end, I think you need to repeat your bridge right before that with a little more emotion, and then give them that relief in the song after that with that piano, and just let it rock. So people are like, give them a chance to absorb what you were just singing about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's a really, really good point, because some energy in the chat said something similar, like, wouldn't you want the vocals to get more intense when the song lifts up? Because it does feel like they kind of die off, because you have these really strong saw chords, but then you have this really delicate vocal. So yeah, I mean, layering it or just letting it
bring back the melody, bring back that bridge, and this time instead of da 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 da, like just play with those notes, play around. Don't be afraid to play, people. I feel like this generation, not trying to get my old lady on, but just play. You're not it's not like back in the day with us where you're looking at your clock like, oh my gosh, how many hours? You got this stuff at home. Play, go for it.
Yeah.
I have a small comment that you guys can respond to. I feel like he's got his jaw clenched, like too tense a little bit. There was something about the delivery, the vowel sounds particular. Well, it's like his jaw's just not quite relaxed enough.
But I don't know if it's a stylistic choice, because it kind of reminds me of like this stuff I used to listen to in the early 2000s, like the Postal Service type of stuff, which is kind of like a little bit clenched like that. It's almost like that vulnerable indie.
Okay.
But I don't know. You could also, I mean, I think the art of singing is also like having that shape that you want to your voice, but maybe breathing properly. So maybe that's sort of what you're talking about.
Well, this also could be a reason why it sounds like it's losing steam in the song, because I'm the breath control queen, not trying to plug my book or anything, but that's why the one book that I've written in my life is about breath control and singing, because once you got that, you can do what you want. You can, play around with different sounds, but I do think that might be why it sounds like it's losing steam. So da 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 and da da da, you have to open your mouth, open. It's gonna be ugly. and everything else, but you've got to open your mouth and get that breath out. Then you can have the option of playing with the different sounds because you don't want to wear yourself out and you only sang like half a bar. People will be like, "What's wrong? You need a nap, honey."
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. And then I would also say on the production thing for the track, I really like the warmth and the intimacy of like the synths.
Oh yeah.
But I also think that maybe a little like sparkly, plucky, like top harmonics of a guitar, like something kind of organic and scrapey and stuff could be a really nice just like finisher for those warm layers of mid-range synths. Just
It'll offset the tone of his voice.
exactly. So doing a little bit of that could also bring that up. Natty, you looked like you were thinking really hard about something.
I'm just processing your guys' comments as well and how the things that I've had to work on with my own vocals. Like, I get very nasally because my sinuses are shit. So it's like, I think it's something to emphasize in this conversation is everyone's voice is unique, but it also means we all have to build unique coping mechanisms for the weaknesses in our own
Yeah.
voices.
It's true. And also like warming up, because a lot of people don't like, it's just so funny, right? I'm sure you can relate to this too, LaMay. It's like people will come up and be like, "Oh, you sing. Like, I could never do that. Like, I wish I could do that." And it's like, well, I don't like go to the gym and try and like bench like 300 pounds after never going, It's like
It's a muscle.
you train, you practice. And like if I don't practice, like when I'm not on tour and I open my mouth to sing now, it is so much worse than when I was out there doing it like 4 days a week.
And honestly, a lot of times it's not as complicated. And this is for whomever is hiring a vocalist or singing their own vocals. Your warm up is your gold. It's your bread and butter. It's a lot of stuff that they want to give you all of these formulas and everything. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you learn how to even talk properly, a lot of times, depending on how much singing you'll be doing, a conversation, like if I had to record right off after we got off of this session, I'm not warming up. I've spoken enough. I'm there. My voice is warm. I can feel it. I can.
You totally should plug your book right now because I didn't even know you wrote a book, and that's cool. And I think a lot of people are trying to learn how to sing, and I'm always learning better.
What's the title? I can link it in the chat.
It is called Breathe Life into Your Singing.
Ooh.
It is not complicated. It's not long. It's not dramatic. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. It's on Amazon as well.
Very cool.
By LaMay. And it's fair price because I'm trying to help folks. You know what I mean? I wish I could just sit with everybody and like, hey, do it like this. And I can just sit in studio and produce your vocals with you. But this is a start. And, it's very reasonably priced and it's an easy read. And just trying to do my part for upcoming singers and people who want to sing their own hooks. You don't have to be a vocalist just because maybe you just need a hook. But you still need to protect your voice so you can keep doing hooks.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, that was amazing. I can't wait to actually read it. And I'm going to move to Salvati, our darling Salvati. Would you like to read Salvati's paragraph of exclamation marks in your excited voice, Natty?
Okay. Hey, recently increased the high end of this mix, trying to get good feel for what too much and too little high end is like. Not sure exactly where I should position, cause there is no right answer. Also, I can't listen to this song without crying to myself, so I really hope it comes through. Love you guys! Love, love, love is the answer.
Salvati, I think you gave me the wrong link, cause it's like some sort of mashup by somebody that isn't you. So I don't know what this link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is not.
The Of Nothing Demo 3 is the link. It's from music. I think it's a dummy account.
Is that actually the track? This is like that does not look like Salvati at all, and it's I'm pretty sure.
Well, it starts out with the word love.
But yeah, I don't know. This is suspicious.
We love love.
I think.
Well, DM me the right link, Salvati,
yeah,
please.
we're gonna go to the next person real quick while we wait. And wait, Nick put another track.
Okay, I got it.
Wait, you got it?
I got it.
Okay.
Oops. What the hell, Discord?
That's yeah. I don't know how that.
No, it is the right link.
It
It is
is?
the right link of Nothing Demo 3.
Nothing demos. What?
I don't know why that's the right track, but apparently it is the right track.
It is the right track,
Of Nothing Demo 3 should be the title.
but this is the
Oh,
three
you've got something
loud.
else.
Three oh okay. You've given me a different link now. I see it.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know. SoundCloud being weird, I think.
SoundCloud is being that usually you don't
I
get.
don't know if this is technical difficulty day or something like that. It just seems like it's all over the
definitely.
globe.
This looks a lot less sketchy. I'm gonna play this one.
Sketchy.
Love. Love. Amour. Amar.
Miłość.
Ljubav. Ay, liefde. Pag-ibig. Love. Ay. Aşk. Любов. Afhaligheid. Love. Ja. Kärlek. Milować.
사랑.
Ласка. Любовь. Love. Liebe. Love. Love of nothing.
This is pretty fun. You really love those like tape stop, tempo slow things, right? I think that seems to be like your signature. I hear that in a lot of your tracks. What do you think of that one, LaMay?
Like I said, I'm a sucker for unique sounds. I mean, to me, they're unique. I'm just wondering, okay, if someone just sent me this, I would say, what is your end game with it? What is in your mind and what you would like to do with it in the end? Is it for a specific purpose? Like, do you want it in sync? Do you want it in film? Are you trying to end up putting vocals on it? Do you want it in the club? I would need to know that before I could say more, but these are some, I really like the sounds and they have their own like kind of rhythm to them. I'll be quick. I'm
Tell
sorry.
us. Take your time.
Take your time.
I would think back in the day, this would be an intro on an album. You know, we used to have like 18 songs on an album, things like that. To me, it sounds like an intro to a song. And that's not saying it's not a bad thing. It's definitely a good thing. However, if that were an intro, the beat that would come in right after would kind of get right to the point. You know what I mean? You would hear this playing for maybe a minute or so, and they would be saying some things, love, 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 and then just boom, da, 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 it would just come straight in and get right into the song. I feel like this one takes a minute to get to that point, and here, attention spans again.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Natty?
Well, music's one of those few things where I think there's still an audience out there for longer form pieces. It's not like video where the trends really impact how the algorithms see it and the delivery methods and stuff. There is still an audience, but I'd agree in the whole, this is like the start of a concept album. Whether it's like an 8 or a 10 track or a really extended one, it doesn't really matter. But this is sort of in order to bring it back round, you're going to have to still mutate this idea a lot more, because in a concept album like this, I'd want it to lead into another song, and then I'd want it to either return at the midpoint of the album or at the end of the album or something like that to sort of... But again, you're going to have to put more variations then on how you present this idea, because we don't want to hear the same thing again. We want to hear a riff on that.
Janet Jackson's albums from back then were really good at that, especially Rhythm Nation. If you listen to her album, she did that really well with the intro into the next song. I'm not sure, I mean, if you're not going for that, I understand, but she was really, really good at that on the Rhythm Nation album.
Good reference.
So, we love references like that. Especially, I'm a sucker for a really solid album. One that's just like, it's such a clear, defined body of work. That's the reason I don't work on many albums myself, because I want all my albums to be in that sort of, this is a unique package.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to bring albums back, everybody. Mark my words.
Yes,
You
let's
heard
do
it here
it.
first. Write it down. We're bringing albums back.
Albums back. Next up, we have, I guess, a cue jumper. We got Kizzleton. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's
And
correct.
No comments?
No specific feedback requested.
So let's go.
Thank you for the subscription.
Thanks. I want to play that. I want to play that. I'm not even playing anywhere, but I want to play somewhere just so I can play that. All right. Wow. Whew. That's my vibe. I don't know what to say. I love the textures of the sounds. That's a good example of something really clean and minimal, or that sounds that way, that has enough going on in tricky little ways to fill the space so that you're satisfied, right? Like you have this little background noise and these little like rhythmic things that give it that sense of completion, and yet they still make you feel like you're in a big minimal space. So yeah, I'm into that. How are you guys feeling?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really satisfying bass.
Very, very satisfying. Nice.
I mean, whew, yeah, definitely.
I'm curious about your gear. What headphones are you listening on there, LaMay?
These are my Sony MDR 7506. I've got monitors on right now, actually.
How's their bass response? Because I'm curious about how you're perceiving it. Because mine are quite consumer headphones, not really monitors.
It's a little lightweight, but my consumer headphone choice, I'd rather have this on because the main thing that I'm listening for when the vocals come up, I'd rather listen on this for that. But I get the idea with the bass. I feel like that was an 808. And that one, it's like it really got that grit, and it really, yeah. I like if you put your back against the wall with certain bass when it's playing on the right speakers. I call it that back to the wall bass. And when you get, never mind. I'm not going to. That's something for yeah, it might not be so deep, but I can tell where that bass is going with that one. What I would like to hear again is the beginning of it, because I almost forgot what it sounded like because of where the song went after that. Yeah, so I kind of forgot what the whole intro sounded like.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a fair point.
fair point. Well, I did really like it. Natty, I know this isn't your normal style of music, but I think you can still have an interesting perspective.
I think that it's strong enough in terms of the evolution of it. It actually casts your mind to a space. Like, sure, you could dance to a club, but it still feels like it's its own piece of music with its own. I mean, it's a very urban vibe, but it's more of you're in a tower block kind of vibe. You know, there's a specific part of town that it would fit in and set a space for.
A specific part of town. Yeah, I mean, this is like a heater. This is a heater party in the U.S., that's for sure. I'll tell you that much. Where are you from, Kizzleton? It looks, you have a lot of strange markings under your name. I love strange markings.
It's so funny.
I don't know what language it is, but it's super cool. Tell us more. Next up, we got Chaos Shaman. Is that right? You said number 12?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. And no, just general feedback is all?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We are good. And...
They're some of the most dynamic, dazzling, jaw-dropping displays in nature. Some flash, some sparkle, others simply glow.
I like whoever started calling this frog bass.
New genre number 3 I've never heard of.
Frog bass, but it does. But it's tasty. Like it's got a really good like crunch to it, and it's warm. It's a nice mix, I think, from over here. I mean, I'm being very bad. I'm kind of sitting at an angle to my speakers, but it's just like the best place to sit in this room. But I'm still in the center, and it is hitting me, and it's hitting my soap pack really nice. So I don't know how it sounds to you all, but it's tight. Natty, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I muted myself. Sorry, I was coughing.
It's okay. I mute you every time. You can only hear yourself because you're in the room.
I thought you were dancing back there.
Oh, I did dance a bit, but I also got a cough sweet.
Oh, okay.
That was a fun track. I really enjoyed that. But also, yeah, these are Bluetooth headphones, so I can move around a bit. It's great. But
Dance party.
She might have no actual floor space. Like that's it.
Aw.
But I really liked the ARP that was sitting under everything. It's just something a little bit different. Like it contrasted the frog bass very well. We're gonna have to get a GIF or something for a frog bass now because that's a really great
cool,
image.
Yeah. I like it.
I really enjoyed that one. I don't really have any actual feedback that helps develop it further because I think it's basically there.
Yeah. What do you think, LaMay? Anything else?
I agree.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, it keeps you wanting the next thing. It makes you want to stick around and like, oh my gosh, what's about to happen now? It's an adrenaline rush. And I believe it might be the little, like you said, it's something that's keeping the adrenaline going, regardless of what instruments are coming in and out. And I love how the spoken vocals, how that's placed, the sample. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Super tight. All right, let's keep moving. I know we're all big thinkers, so we'll go to Energy, who has been hanging out and supporting all night. Shouts out. Would you like to read Energy's feedback request?
Interested in general feedback, definitely understand the vocals aren't exactly timed the song perfectly and are washed at times, but maybe you don't think so? Looking to make more songs with vocals, and I want feedback on how to make vocals more powerful in time with the overall track. Tips and tricks.
Well, I think you're
We
going to
have
get some
Miss
great
tips and tricks here.
feedback on that.
Miss Tips and Tricks. I
have
like
tips
that. I need to get a t-shirt made.
So the feedback question was how to make vocals more powerful. And I'd love to hear those tips and tricks.
Okay. So, as far as making your vocals more powerful, the first thing, and this is a general thing for everyone, I come from the school of good delivery, you get a better product in the end. So, don't rely on what the engineer is going to do to make your vocals pop. That's just icing on the cake. That's not the cake. So, as far as making your vocals more powerful, sometimes it's mic placement. It could be mic placement. Sometimes, depending on what you're going for, the mic needs to actually be higher than you need or lower than you need. Experiment with that. But what I'm hearing in this particular track, it goes back to, again, opening your mouth. I hear, lead me again. You can't enunciate if your mouth's not open. It's almost, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first, but open. Lead me again. Now, this versus this. So some of your air can't flow properly and people aren't able to understand what you're saying. Try with opening up before you do anything. I know a lot of people talk about the yawn thing with, I know it's kind of cliche, but it works. Open up. And also, don't make sure that you're not trying to cram in too much. That's the beauty of recording versus live performance. You might need to comp your vocals sometimes. Comping your vocals, doing 6 different takes, and then we're taking the best of those takes. I find nothing wrong with that at all. People have been doing it forever. And really listen to what your best delivery is. I think a lot of times we try to sing it all at once and then hope that the engineer fairy is going to use compression or whatever else to get our vocals where they need to be. We need to learn how to do that with our mouths, learn our dynamics. And it may take a while, it may take a while to actually figure out what that sign is, but from what I'm hearing in this song, you could do it. Now, the last thing I'll say, as far as the song itself, when it comes to the writing aspect, I'm not sure if this was actually one of the questions, but it's something that sticks out to me. Something that's going to take this song from more, I say, laid back is good, but you don't want to be borderline mundane. Repetition is nice in a song. That's where we get our hooks and things from. But lead me again. I got that. That's cool. But then there's about 3 other times in the song where you repeat yourself as well with the exact same melody. We need to put some nuances in there to keep the people interested. Because it's like, look, hey, if I can sing that song too, that's where you get that, oh, well, I can sing that. I'm not saying you need to go full on Mariah Carey with it. You could just switch up one note when you're repeating. It needs to lead up to somewhere. You're trying to get a story across. So I know we can't spend a whole lot of time on that, but that song has a lot of potential. It needs a few little tweaks and some practice with vocal delivery, and I think that song could go somewhere.
Yeah. And I'm going to add to the production side of it as well. Like if you need to make vocals more powerful in like electronic music and you have these strong synths that you're competing with, and if you have just a sampled vocal like that and you can't, like if you can sing, double up parts, triple up parts, record like this
Definitely.
8 times, pan them, it'll strong, it'll stick out.
Yes.
A production trick that you can also use is to sidechain. This is a pop trick, actually, by the way. Sidechain everything against the vocal so that the vocal just dips the rest of the track down just a tiny bit when it comes in, and the rest of the track is kind of bowing to the vocal. So that is and you do it kind of gently. You don't want your whole track to just like pump and pump and pump. It's a very tiny bit, but it is a pop trick that you can do. You can also do dynamic EQ. So you can set an EQ with a certain frequency band that is around the same as the core of your vocal. For example, I have a kind of a lower voice for a woman, so I have this like 800 hertz sort of center in my voice. So if I dip the rest of the synths that are competing with my voice at that frequency, at 800 hertz, and I sidechain that to my voice, then whenever I sing, it will make room in the frequency spectrum for that core of my voice to come through. So that's another thing. A third thing you can do is mid-side EQ, and you can have the vocal be the mid channel, the center, and push up the synths on the sides and make a little hole in the middle. And so this is like 360-degree mixing. Some tips like that. Natty, what are your tips for making vocals more powerful?
Sometimes it's just a matter of turning other things down a little bit more. Like, it's sometimes, like, sidechain stuff is all useful, but, like, a lot of the old engineers do swear by just using your faders and EQ for everything.
True. Absolutely. Super valid. Super valid. That's another perspective. But yeah, you can be fancy, you can be simple, but I do think that you have a lot of synths that are burying some of the middle of the vocal, so that's why I suggested that personally. But I don't know. Any other things?
Yeah, my last thing is I suggest sing as if you're not going to have any post-production. Just imagine, you will, but just imagine that when you get in front of that microphone, that you wouldn't, like, what if you had no one to do any post-production? Don't do the lazy performance. You know, I really get on people. I'm like that trainer that people don't like when I'm producing people's vocals in the studio. I'm like, cut. I will go in the booth and like, no, do it like this. There it is. You know what I mean? Do your best. Perform as if this is this is it. And then that'll just make it even better in the end once the post-production is on it. Think about your performance. You've got to, what do they say? You can't put lipstick on a pig or some crazy country saying like that. I don't know. But you've got to make sure that you're giving something to work with, for the engineer to work with. Don't just rely on what they can do. They're the sparkle. They're the shine, the glitter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they asked also if the song is structured well. I think the structure's okay. I don't have any complaints. Nothing sticks out to me. I just wanted to hear the vocal a little bit more, I think.
The structure's good. Just switch up a few notes here and there. The repetition's good, but it can be used too much.
Fair enough. All right. We're moving on to Jack Spade, who would like specific feedback on the second chorus. Okay. Oh, my dude. The second part was fire, that metallic-y, clanky stuff. This part, I think you should maybe not have this part. It just went very 2012 dubstep after being like so forward thinking. It was like I got like pulled into a time machine when I wasn't ready to go, because I was like, yes, this is so deep and woodsy, and then whoa, what is it? Wah wah wah, Skrillex. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I loved 2/3 of that, and then I know you were talking about I don't really know what the chorus is in this case because there's just a lot of drops. So if I was going by drops, I would say the second drop, that second part was fire, and then the third part was but yeah, I don't know. Natty?
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement here. The issue with that old school sound, the fact that it's now old school, but the fact that it took a decade for us to all get kind of tired of it, in that sense, is interesting.
Decade, okay.
Oh, the second drop is the 2012. Yeah. Then ditch that and just like pull out the first part and do some more cool stuff with vocals and play with that minimalism. That's what I would say. Yeah. And Energy doesn't think the vocals felt amazing in the track. What do you think about that, LaMay?
I think that those are definitely the right vocals for that track. Exactly right vocals. Yeah, that's a good job on that. The thing that kind of stood out to me is the after every line. Yeah, for me, it distracts me. The breath lady. So I would do something about those. I'm not saying silence them so that it sounds unnatural, but the breaths take it from polished to I'm just playing around sitting in my bedroom. It's little stuff like that will take a song from the C word commercial, pop or wherever you're trying to get it, from like amateur to not. I'm trying to think of a better word, but it's little things like that. Get those breaths out of there. They're just as loud as the vocals.
Yeah, it could be the threshold on the compressor. It could just be compressing it a little bit too hard, and that's usually a giveaway because you don't want to hear that. And if you do really want to compress that hard, if you're trying to do that like up close, super tight stuff, then you do have to, like you were saying, LaMay, like manually fade some of the breaths or just.
And it's also breath control. Like when you're singing, this is just a little side note. When you're singing, if you have a candle and you and that candle is blowing, the flames blowing, you're not you're letting too much breath out, which means you're going to have to recover it. Check your breath, people. Check your breath.
Check your breath. Really?
I'm just thinking of like Imagine Dragons now, all the memes with Radioactive, because there's this moment in there where it goes.
Okay, well, see, that's different, but when it's just a regular song,
yeah, it just gets
you're
weird,
making
doesn't
me tired, baby. No, it's not that bad. I'm just saying, it's just a suggestion, and it'll turn it up a notch. It'll make it sound more polished.
Amazing. Yeah, I agree. All right, so Baco is up next, I believe, our old friend. Any specific feedback?
Yep. Remixed the first track I ever mixed down for Clowns. Remixed it in memory now that I have a better understanding of what I'm doing. So it's not a remix, it's like original stuff collaborating. They've been working together for a while now.
Okay. Very, very cool. Well, this just woke me up. This was definitely different than anything else I've heard tonight, and nice crunch on the guitars, nice separation of the parts. Like if you're, the mixing, if that's what you're doing, I think you achieved your goal. I mean, sounded crunchy, but I think it does need vocals. It feels like it some kind of screamy, like even just little bits. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm not sure what to say. I like it a lot. I can feel like the guitars were going like there was a little teaspoon of psychedelic going on just for a minute, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, yeah. I don't know with the vocals. I actually, for the first time, I don't have a straight like opinion on something. I don't know. Natty?
Yeah.
I think for me, it still sounds very mono when it shouldn't. Like the guitar, everything, the guitar and the drums and everything are all so central that it kind of takes away some of the energy for me in the track. It's like muddy's the wrong word, but it's just not spacious enough to really let things like the bass breathe.
Yeah, that's true. There could be some more stereo stuff. It was like a big wall of sound, but sometimes in that style, that is sort of what they do. Like it is just like grinding and like that's the vibe. But I'm sure there's always room for more stereo. But it sounded pretty like clear to me. I heard everything, even though there was a lot going on. So I think that's a good sign.
Good job there.
Good job there. Woo! Okay, so actually, we have a couple more, but I was gonna we usually do this plugin of the week, and I was gonna do current, but I'm just like, we have 3 vocalists here. Maybe we should talk about vocal plugins and stuff, right? Like, that seems like that would make more sense. So, LaMay, when you're writing and stuff, what is your personal setup for getting ideas out? Like, do you have plugins or things that you just use to get quick, decent demos for yourself or anything?
Well, I'm just being honest. It's 2 things I use. One's old school and one's obsolete. It seems like now. I have an Isotope Spire.
Okay.
That's my idea machine.
That's cool.
It's one of my best friends. It's been years I've been using it. Even if I'm writing for someone and I'm just trying to get, a demo over to them of how they should sing it, I use an Isotope Spire because it's just right there. And other than that, I have my phone. I almost have no space on my phone because sometimes I need it. I've woken up in the middle of the night, like out of my sleep, like, gotta get it. And I don't want to pick up my Spire at that time. I'll probably hit the floor, let alone plug in my whole setup with the computer and everything else. But yeah, that's my quickest go-to for getting ideas down for demoing and writing, honestly.
Nice. Natty, what about you? What plugins do you like?
Honestly, Melodyne's probably my best friend. Not because I think my voice needs auto-tune or anything, but because it helps me draft things out. I can test versions, check whether I'm singing it the way I want to sing it, and then redo it over the top. Like, it's a good safety net while I work out exactly what it is I want to sing. Because it's one thing to have a melody and a progression that generally works. It's another thing to really feel like the vocal on top of that or using that melody works. And so sometimes it's a bit of trial and error as you refine it down, and then you have to decide whether it's like, am I seeing this right, or is it the words that need changing? So having something that can give me the information that says you're hitting these notes at this time, and then being able to drag that around is actually really valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there's so many things. I'm just gonna quickly show you guys, and I apologize that there used to be 3 cameras there. I don't know where the other one is, but I can't do it right now, but I'll just show these real quick. I'm going to show you 2 plugins that I like. This one is expensive, and then I'll show you one that's free, because I don't like to be, people have different levels of what they can handle, and I could not handle this level until I grew my career for a while. This is like a very expensive plugin, and even when it goes on sale, it's not that cheap, but it's called Soothe, and it's essentially like basically a gigantic, intelligent, dynamic EQ. So I can also show you the free dynamic EQ that we love, TDR Nova, but essentially you just set the bands of this where you want it to focus on taming the frequencies, right? So instead of this being like a literal EQ where you like bump this up, you're actually saying, pay more attention to this area. And then you have a bunch of different settings of how deep, how sharp, how much you want oversampling. And just basically, it's kind of a magic bullet for vocals and resonance. So I'm just going to put in like one of my loops. So if I put it through Soothe, like obviously this is a sample pack, so I like to think that I kind of mastered it all and it sounds good. But just to show you it working, let's so it's basically just evening out the resonance, and it's targeting specific areas. So it comes with a lot of typical presets, so taking the edge off, vocal harshness. And now I have a proper studio again, and I can actually, a lot of stuff LaMay talked about, which is great, recording techniques. That is half of it. But if you are like me for the last few years, nomadic and living out of suitcases in rented apartments with no treatment and getting like horrible reverb, something like this is just a lifesaver. So if you have no money and you want something else cool, iZotope Vocal Doubler is a little free plugin that iZotope makes. And if you have like a sampled vocal and you can't get another harmony to it, you can actually use this instead of just doubling, which will phase it, to create a copy that is slightly different, right? That has some variation, has some separation, and you can put that doubler. So I'm going to just put it on this and thicken it. Let's turn it off. Now, my tip on this is never actually do it 100%, right? That's huge. It's dramatic. But usually with any effect, get it till where you think it sounds nice and then dial it back. So that's two plugins that I really like for just vocals in general. And let's get back to the last few in the queue. Just thank you so much, LaMay. It's so cool to have you here and your perspective on things and your experience.
And I must say, I'm an iZotope fanatic, and I Nectar 3 when it comes to actual plugins. But I don't do that until it's time for the final. Now, demoing and getting ideas down, that's different. But when it's time for the final, love Nectar.
Yeah.
Love it, Nectar 3.
Nectar is super great. I'll just show it real quick before we go back since I have it here. It is kind of an all-in-one channel strip. So it's got like pitch corrections, EQ, compressor, delay, and the one I really like is called harmony. So that's another thing you can do to thicken a vocal is if you have this Nectar thing, you can create, it's like Vocal Doubler, right? But it just gives you multiple copies and you can do octaves and you can choose where to put them in the space. So you can thicken a vocal that way by making like panned unison or something down like that. So yeah, good tip, really good plugin.
I guess I know what I'm saving up for.
Yeah, I really like this one as well. I use it a lot. I used to use CLA vocals all the time, but this is like a better evolution. And iZotope, I have my pros and cons with them. I don't necessarily like the way they let or don't let you upgrade in the subscription stuff, but the quality of the plugins is amazing. And I use RX for fixing audio. If you have like a lot of like bad audio bleed and stuff, RX
That's my other one. Oh yeah, RX.
So good. So good. All right. We got a couple more. And then we got Bensa. It's hard style. Oh, my God. If you want to skip, that's fine.
Time to get caffeine boost right now.
Is he here? Is Danny?
Yep, I've seen him in the chat.
All right,
yep.
then. Hey, all's fair and square then. We'll play your track. Let's go.
Fantasy. A land of fantasy. Fantasy. A land of fantasy. 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 A land of fantasy. 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 A land of fantasy. A land of fantasy. Facing reality. Protect the weak. Free your mind. Chaos and order. For blood and glory. The fight of evil. A land of fantasy. 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 A land of
I gotta say, I keep listening to this and thinking, did you mute the kick? Where's the kick? It's like I hear this like kick that's kind of a sub, but there's no like kickness to it. Like it's just like it sounds like it's been muted or it's like phasing out or something, because I just hear this sub and then this like little hollow snare. So look, I mean, it's not my style, but I think if you fix some things in the mix, it'll bang and it will serve its purpose. But right now there's like some strange things disappearing, and I think you've got some conflicting frequencies. Yeah, Natty.
I think it could have done with some more like rising downlifter kind of action as well, because in the moments where the spoken vocal comes in, and the track almost loses any of the energy it had to begin with.
Yeah.
There needs to be something there to sort of keep the momentum going, because the vocal itself isn't doing that. It's a mid-rangey sound, which is done at a sort of, and maybe even just a case of chopping it up, so it's like the gaps between the words are mutating and changing around, so it's just like, rather than lands of fantasy, lands of fantasy, it's more lands of fantasy, lands of, and you know, chopping it up, granulating it a bit maybe.
So put some sexy on it.
Yeah.
That's what it's
In a good way.
Throw some sexy on top. Yeah. Good sexy.
Amazing. Yeah, exactly. We only got a couple more. We got Citros, and then I think we have a second one from Nick Beeman, so I think we got time to play it. And then I would love to play one of your songs, LaMay, so people can hear it. So think about which one you would want that to be. Citros is next. Anything goes is what they said, working on this track. Aren't we all, my friend? Aren't we all? This is a house track, so it's like 8 minutes long. So we're gonna sit on this, and it's a very nice vibe. I do love this warm progression. I've been listening to that, like it's like it keeps me warm in the winter time. So I like it. It is slow and long, but I mean this is the style, progressive. It's funny they call like this progressive stuff, and I'm like, it takes such a long time to progress. Is it just like a teaser so that you're like, okay, I know it's going to progress because it's called progressive, so I'm going to keep listening to hear that progression happen? But no, I mean, I actually got to say, I used to be very stuck up about progressive and house, and I think just living in America where there's almost like this, like you're either the progressive EDM like that person, or you're like the creepy dubstep basement dwarf. And I was definitely in the black clothes, like just like dark dubstep corner for a very long time. And so I was like, progressive house, but
What do you mean music saying MDMA2 is something to be judged?
then I moved to Europe, and in Europe, like this is the only thing that like anyone listens to, except in the UK where they listen to drum and bass and other stuff in Netherlands. But
Yeah, we're cooler, sorry.
yeah, well, they're more classic, right? European culture is more classic, so their styles of music are more classic. And now I have a different appreciation for this. I even have like a secret 4 on the floor house alias because I was like, this would be so confusing if it showed up on my Spotify. But but yeah, I mean, it's nice. I'm enjoying listening to this. I would sit and like chill out to this. What do you two think?
I think it's pretty chill as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, you first.
No, I really want to hear I want to hear your thoughts because I have go on.
The problem I have is it's just always a case of I can deconstruct this sort of too easily sometimes. Like, oh, I see, there's a filter cut off being played with, and it's just a fade in, a volume. I always would like to see more interesting transitionary devices. Because even though it's progressive, it doesn't mean you have to use the one knob. You can use all of them.
Right.
You can progress to using more of their knobs.
Use your knobs. We have like all these T-shirts that we could come up with now. Like, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, you know what could be cool is like there's so many like back in my day when you wanted to have a complicated like modulating distortion with EQ, you had to stack plugins, and now you have all these things like thermal and rift and like volcano, and you have all these like multi-stage filter distortion crazy all-in-one. I would just kind of like to, just in like some of the breakdowns, just to give it a texture, maybe like slowly, like not too progressive, right? You know, slowly automate just a tiny bit of rhythmic distortion. I am loving Rift. I was going to talk about Current today, but we'll talk about it next time. But Minimal Audio makes some really good, interesting stuff that will give you that extra texture and also control because they have stacks of effects inside of them. So I mean, it's not very typical progressive, but I also think that it's fun to challenge your genre, right? Like, do it how it's supposed to be done, but just twist one little thing, and it's you, right? And it's not just
Yeah.
standard.
So I mean, if you get someone that might have a preference for maybe soulful house, something that's really a lot more soulful, in the very beginning, it could almost lead you there. So if it is someone that has more of a preference for soulful house, once you get to those keys to where the song is transitioning a little bit, it'll kind of lose you a little. It's like it lost some of that funk. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion. You know, I come from a more soulful house type situation. I love progressive house, but it's very specific progressive that I like. And for me, instead of the which is like borderline deep house, I would like to hear some, you know, like on the keys. But that's just a preference thing. It's not a good or bad. It's just a preference. I just think where it started, it could like go either way, and they chose to go progressive with the But good stuff. It's real mellow, real cool. Chill vibe can go in a lot of places.
Definitely. Definitely. All right. We are going to play one more track, a second track from Nick Beeman as Nick Beeman this time. Alter ego. Which one is the real Nick Beeman? Is it Nicola? Is it Nick?
We don't see them in the same room, so
I've never seen them in the same room. That
Oh,
is,
so it's like that Michael Jackson and his sister thing?
I think
Okay,
so.
cool.
All
Whatever
right.
works.
This will be mysterious. Let's see. Nick Beeman.
Hey, it's okay. We will all be forgotten. And there's nothing we can do about it. Just stay in the moment. Don't let your fears hold you back.
Oh, that was a nice way to close the queue, wasn't it? Very it was very lovely, and it was super minimal, but in a really nice way. I wasn't really missing anything. It had a real feeling to it. How'd you feel, LaMay?
It's giving me you, as in Netflix, you. I could totally imagine the narrator speaking on that, and I mean this in the best way. And then when he's just about to reach, like he's about to get caught, is where the music, and then it comes back down. I mean, I feel like we're getting a lot of cinematic and TV video game sync stuff today. Is it just
No,
me?
for sure.
Does it seem
Yeah.
like that? I think that is so cool. Like, I really do, because it's not easy. And it's you really got to have a certain thing going on, a creative thing, to be able to do that. And I think that would be so good in a scene from like a think movie, one of those psychological thrillers. I love it.
Very cool. Nathaniel, would you?
It's the moment where they've been left all alone and they're just drinking this scotch or something by themselves because they don't know what's happened and there's nobody else.
Reflecting, and then
cigarette or something.
I like it. It sparks something. We want to see it put to on the big screen. Yeah, I like that. I like it.
Yeah.
I would have loved to hear some sort of closing statement.
Like
we got this talk about how you don't need to let your fear control you, kind of thing. And
oh, there was an explanation in the text. All right, let me. Okay.
It'd have been nice to sort of just have something to say.
Here, I'm going to
go
read
to
the
sleep.
explanation. Coming to terms with the passing of a loved one is a profoundly complex and emotional journey We often grapple with the idea of when we will truly embrace the loss to a degree that allows our minds to grant us inner peace, letting our emotions find solace, and putting an end to the constant rehashing of cherished memories that can sometimes tether us to the past, hindering us from fully experiencing the present. It begs the question, is it even possible, or is the anguish stemming from such a loss perpetual and indelible? Whoa. You need to put out like... This is like bringing me back to the era of like physical merchandise where like now I want like your handwritten journal like in the liner notes of with this writing on it. Very nice.
Yeah.
So, LaMay, we want to hear something.
Wow, I'm trying to snap out of it. Sorry.
What should we
I like
what
that
should
a
we
lot.
play? We usually close the show these days with music from our guests. So, if I was to play a song, what should it be?
Well, maybe my latest single that's out called Don't Wait Up. It's a nice little sassy, everybody, let's get pumped, let's get lifted. Some people say Afro house, some people say R&B. I don't know what it is. It's just fun.
Amazing. Do you want to give us any like behind the scenes or backstory or like where this track came from?
Well, it came from actually some of a lot of my stuff comes from some of these crazy posts that we see online, especially on Instagram. Half the posts make me want to cry, the others make me laugh until I can't even control myself. But it's a whole lot of things with what's her name, Kiki Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
When what happened, that whole Usher scandal she just had, and she's dancing with him and everything, and how the women were in general reacting to that. This song inspired that. Like, don't wait up. I'll be home when I want to. You're not gonna ruin me. It seemed like it fit the moment, and the song is a lot of fun, and it has some sounds in it that are familiar to people across the generations.
Amazing. All right. So
And it's a house song with a bridge.
woo. All right.
So something different.
Well, this has been so amazing. This is Feedback and Friends on LBC TV with myself, ill-esha, Nathaniel Wyvern, and our very special guest, LaMay, who we are going to listen to right now. Thanks for all the great music and words, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Don't you wait up. For me. Up, no. Up, don't you wait up. Get out there and make it look good. Make it look good. Make it look good. Talking about the time, and I said, so what? Now you listen. You don't want to stay up all night. Go to bed and turn off the light. Next night I might do it again. I got a key, I lock myself in. Wait up. You ain't walking in my shoes. So don't worry about it. Don't you wait up. 'Cause I want to do it too. So get out there and make it look good. La 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 la. Make it look good. La 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 la. Taking flight, this music's got me loving life. This groove is on our side, let's seize the day and dance all night. Get set, we're taking flight, this music's got me loving life. This groove is on our side, let's seize the day and dance all night. Get set, we're taking flight, this music's got me loving life. This groove is on our side, let's seize the day and dance all night. Get set, we're taking flight, this music's got me loving life. Don't wait up, don't you wait up. So don't wait up for me. Don't you wait up. I said don't you time.
Woo! Oh,
Yes.
yes. Yes. Great vocals, great feedback. What's next for you? What do you got coming up? What do you got cooking?
Well, I have a single coming out in what's it about a month or so? Michael
Yeah,
Gray
it's
with Michael
December.
Gray and Anthony Poteet. And I've got some really good projects. You know, I'm not going to put them out there just yet, but it's some really good stuff coming up. And I'm still working on my own music. We're really trying to narrow it down to whether I want to do a tech house or a soulful house or thinking of doing a second sample pack because the disco sample pack that we put out a few months ago, the vocal sample pack is done. It's done pretty well, and we're thinking of doing one for Soulful House next. And yeah, I'm just excited. It's just a lot of music going on.
Very, very nice. Well, we're so excited that you're a part of our community. Thank you for coming on and everything you said. And it's super, super cool. Come back anytime.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Amazing.
Have a good one.
And our tradition is to sing goodnight. Maybe you should do it because usually we do it horribly on purpose, but I think this is you.
Oh, so is it like a certain melody or something?
No,
Just good night?
we just sing goodnight.
Okay. Good night, and we'll see you next time.